It's so neat that we can do a live show and stuff like that just by using Zoom and YouTube, and so many people are able to watch. It's just absolutely amazing. And we are live. Welcome everybody. I am so glad that you guys showed up here today. I know that it's so beautiful outside that if we weren't doing a podcast, I'd probably be out flying right now. Let's take a look in the super chat. We got John Wayne. What's up? Said, hey guys, just landed, be back in a minute. Great. Travis is here. Hey Bill, hey John Wayne, what's up? Jim from Care PPG, Simard. Did I say that right, Jim?
Very well done. Thank you.
I did it right. Woohoo. We got PPG, the other Nick, Bill H, Joshua Marsh, and we are getting ready to rock and roll. So welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. This is going to be an awesome podcast. We got an awesome guest, but right before we introduce our amazing guest, let's go and say hi to everybody on the panel so you know who's here. As always, we have Linda Anderson. She's our cheerleader with their pom-poms. You know, one of these days, we're all going to have pom-poms and just cheer with Linda.
I know.
One of these days we are.
I would be so excited. I would be so excited.
Well, welcome
everybody.
I'm glad that you could make it.
Thank you. I love Mondays. You know me. I'm always like Monday nights. I'm always ready for the show and everything. And welcome my chatters. We love you bunches. Couldn't do it without you, my viewers, everybody. Thank you so much. Every Monday, this is our night to hang out, and I love you. And don't forget on Thursday night, paraglidingtalk.com with my son, Robert Michaels. He's my favoriteest paraglider ever. And yeah, be sure to check his show on Thursdays. It's a lot of fun.
Absolutely. And if you want to be on our show, of course, Linda is our PR girl. So all you have to do is go to paramomusa.com. It forwards over to her Facebook page. Just PM her and say, yo, I want to be on PPG Grandpa's Paramotor Podcast, clearproptv.com. paratalk.org. If you don't know who I am Sean Symons, PPG Grandpa. I don't think I ever introduced myself. I just assume people know who I am, but I need to stop assuming. I think that's a bad thing, right? Assuming. We also got Will Fly from willflyppg.com. What's up, Will?
Hey, I'm still recovering from bad apples, but I'm looking for. I haven't flown since then because the weather has been bad. But yeah, I'm ready to get back in the sky.
Absolutely. So you're going to be taking all of the questions from the super chat, letting us know who's asking questions, right?
You bet.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Appreciate you, Will. We also got Jim from Canada, the only guy I know that has maple syrup smelling money. What's up, Jim?
Doing well. Just got back from a fly-in. Pretty stoked.
That's awesome. And you also been taking care of us on all the stickers and all the printing things that you guys that you do for us. And if we want anything done, anybody can get up with you at carepp.com, correct?
That is correct.
If they want to see your flying shenanigans, they go careppg.com.
Woo-hoo.
Right? And of course, we always ask you, what are you up to? How many flights do you have now?
Oh man, I got a ton of flights this weekend, and I haven't had but a moment to calculate it all out.
Okay.
Gonna be like 130, I'm sure.
Wow. All right. That's awesome. Now, guys, it's not about me. It's not about the people on the panel here. It's about our guest tonight. You probably know Jason, but you probably don't know him as Jason Guttridge. Who's this guy, right? But I bet you anything, if I say it's Fly Guy Alberta, right? Fly Guy Alberta, you know who he is. Welcome to the show, Jason. I'm so happy that you made it here.
Hey, thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely. You know, I told you before the show that, you know, there's a couple of people that I saw on YouTube and heard about. You are one of them. As far as like the 5 main people that I saw or heard about when I first got into paramotoring, you are one of the guys. And the video of the top 10 reasons for not being a paramotor pilot, or what was the name of that? Do you remember what that was?
That's what it was. Top 10 reasons not to become a pilot.
Not to be a pilot. And that was absolutely amazing. All of your information is down below. So if you guys want to learn more about Jason, all the links are down below. But Jason, welcome to the show. So glad that you made it here. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into paramotoring?
Yeah, sure. Well, again, thanks for having me. I appreciate it very much.
Absolutely.
Yeah, my story, I would say, is not much different than most. I've kind of always been an aviation buff as a kid, and always had a dream of being. I wanted to be an airline pilot back when I was a kid, and started getting into flying in my early teens. Up here in Canada, we have what's called air cadets, where you just can go and start to learn about ground school and flying, and you start to fly gliders and that sort of stuff. And I was trying to work my way to be just my private pilot's license. And then life got in the way, for you start getting jobs, and then you get married and you have kids, and the years speed by. And, I never lost that want to, get up and do some flying again. And once our kids got to an age, my wife was like, hey, you always said you wanted to go fly. So why don't you get your private pilot's license? Like, just go and do it. Right. I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm doing that. And so then, you start doing the research on costs and, logistics of what, after you get your license, what does that look like? Are you going to buy a plane? Are you going to rent a plane, and the expenses associated to it? And right about that same time, ironically, I was watching the news one day, and I see these two paramotors flying over. I think it was like they were broadcasting on some flood disaster that had happened somewhere in the States. And these two guys were flying over this thing, looking at this, and I'm like, what is that cool thing? And so I just kind of went down the rabbit hole of Google and YouTube and started watching the videos and learning about it. And then I found, a couple guys that were flying in my area, and I stalked them for a while and tried to pick their brains about what it's like and how do you do it? What do you do? And then there was a school that was about 4 hours from where I was living at the time. So I drove up there, and I kind of said, hey, I'm here to get training. Let's start today. And then I never looked back. And then, so yeah, I've been flying for a few years now. And then, I think, like you were saying earlier, we kind of, it's an addiction. Like, it's all you can do, think about all the time. And so as the years went by, I started wanting to share it with people. So I started doing the videos, and then I thought, well, why don't I maybe try and help other people get into it and share the passion with other people. So I became an instructor, and now I teach people how to do it as much as I can. So it's cool.
That is so awesome. You've been flying for 7 years and teaching between 4 and 5 years right now. Tell us a little bit about your school. Give yourself that 5-minute plug on your school real quick.
Yeah, well, thanks. Yeah, so the school is just called Paramotor Sports Canada. We're located kind of in central Alberta, so we're kind of midway between Calgary and Edmonton. There's a little town called Innisfail. And then we train out of the Innisfail Airport, which is about 10 minutes west of town. And it's just kind of one of those little airports, it's really nice and quiet. There's lots of grass. The weather here is pretty good a lot of the times. And yeah, so, we take on a crew, and we train, and we're flying all summer long. Here we can only train from, like usually beginning of June to about around October. And then we shut her down for the winters.
And what is how do we get to your school? Is there a website, or is it just the Facebook page?
Yeah, no, I got a website. It's paramotorsportscanada.ca. And then also on Facebook, and then my Instagram is just Fly Guy Alberta.
Awesome. So there's a little bit of difference between us in the United States training and you guys in Canada training. Do you know the difference, or you just know what's going on in Canada?
Like, as far as the training process or the legalities?
As far as the differences between the States and Canada, as far as training, do you know? I don't know if you know the differences. I'm not sure exactly about the differences. Do you know the differences, or you just know what you need to do up in Canada?
Yeah, like, I know the process here. I think as far as, the step-by-step getting people into the sky is probably very similar, like you do all the groundwork, the kiting, simulator work, tandems, all that is part of the training. But of course, up here we have to have, it's kind of like driving a car. You got to have a license, registration, and insurance. So I guess as far as time-wise goes, it's probably very similar. But we have a few extra steps just administratively where we have to go through Transport Canada. We have to take an exam, get past that, and then we get issued an ultralight pilot's permit that is just restricted to paramotors.
Okay. Yeah, we did a podcast that went into all this, but I just wanted you to, and for the people that didn't hear the other podcast, it's always good to hear it from the horse's mouth, so to speak. So you've been trained for 4 years, which is really awesome. But before we continue into this, was there any questions in the chat?
Yeah, you got a couple. Nick Griffith wants to know what your current go-to wing is. What you're currently flying.
Yeah, well, I guess a two-part answer to that. For training, I use the Dudic Nemo. It's kind of our training wing. It's like pretty solid A-rated glider from the Dudic line. And, like we've always said in all the chats, is there's no best. Like there's a lot of good equipment out there now, so we're very fortunate for that. But Dudic Nemo is what we train with. Either that or the Universal. Right now, I've been flying the Dudic Solo for a little while, and it's I really like it. It's a fun wing. It's just a B-rated glider, but I really like it so far. That's kind of what my wheelhouse at the present moment.
Right on. And yeah, I have to say it's a pleasure meeting you. But just like what Sean was saying, you were one of the first people I started watching, and you've got a positive message and some good energy. You're a good ambassador to the sport. So thank you for that.
Oh, thank you for saying that. I appreciate you.
Another question from Tony. He wants to know, do you know a guy named, was it Jerry Delia, the other guy from Canada?
Oh yeah, he's my neighbor, eh? We just had a Pilsner the other day. No, I've messaged him online a few times. And I don't know him personally. We haven't met, but I hope to one day. He seems like a pretty cool guy.
Right on. I'll save that next question for later.
Okay, because I was looking at that question. I'm like, love it. Oh my goodness. So you guys, you and Jim are both from Canada, and you guys just got back from flying. Please tell us the fly-in name, because this is the first annual, and guys, this is the best fly-in name I've ever heard in my life.
So we had the first annual Butt Fan Dust Off.
Butt Fan Dust Off. Is that like the best fly-in name you've ever heard of? I loved it. As soon as I heard it, I'm like, that is great. That'd be a great shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah. It makes me, everything he says, I just start smiling. It's like, it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah. So when I was kind of thinking of hosting the event, we all see on the forums and media, like when springtime rolls around, a lot of guys and gals haven't been maybe flying for a little while over the winter time, and I wanted to try and create a venue where people could come and have the comfort in numbers, and maybe literally get some of the dust blown off some of these pieces of equipment that have probably been sitting in the garage for probably too long, and we could all kind of round table and help each other out and fix stuff if we needed to fix stuff. And, if somebody wasn't comfortable to fly on their own, they could come and, just like I say, have somebody help them if they needed some help, and have some guide, somebody else to fly with, for maybe might have been their first time of the spring. So.
And we accomplished that this weekend. We worked on multiple paramotors. Ones that weren't even running, we got them running, and the people got up in the air. That was wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great idea. There's a super safety element to that too.
Mm-hmm.
just, I think recently someone something that happened where someone hadn't flown for a while, and their skills were dusty, they're rusty. And so, I mean, do you cover that also kind of? Do you like pair people up with a wingman or any, I don't know where you would go with that or how you would do it, but man, after I haven't flown for 2 weeks, I feel rusty. So instead of flying by myself, it feels better to fly with someone else,
Yeah. And, like on each day, we kind of had little, it wasn't like lectures. It was like round table conversations. The first day we talked about risk and reward, and specific on that day, it was just like a weather talk where, because there was, a year or two ago, unfortunately, there was a fatality where a guy died flying his paramotor at this exact time of year. And so we talked about dust devils, and we talked about, what does spring weather look like? And we shared stories, and it kind of just brings an awareness kind of to the forefront so that, you start to think about these things. And then the next day, we just had a little round table on maintenance, and we just sat there in the shop and we talked about how do you fix your carb? How do you fix this problem? How do you balance a prop? That sort of stuff was the conversations, and the knowledge that we could all share was really cool because, some people have expertise in engines, some people can, do Bondo work or do 3D print something or whatever it was. And, it was really cool. So I think there's some value that was shared amongst everybody that was there.
Yeah. Bad Apples Fly-In, they did something that I thoroughly enjoyed, which is similar, I guess, to what you're talking about, but they had like a carb clinic, where you could take your carb and break it down by, someone who knows what they're doing. And you kind of work as a team. And you're right, you learn a lot doing that. And you learn what not to do, And some of the guys, they take their carb apart and be like, okay, well, this diaphragm's completely backwards, or this gasket's the wrong gasket, or so, I mean, doing that, if you're doing it with someone who knows what they're doing, then when you do it, that you're doing it right. So, yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah. And, we had, like we were talking about, sometimes the skills are a little dusty. So we kind of incorporated, just some really light, friendly competitions. We had a beanbag drop, see you could get closest to the pylon. We had a little cross country kind of poker rally where they had to fly to a location and just pick up some playing cards. And then we came back, I played a round of poker, spot landing competition, kite wars, just fun stuff. It was good.
Yeah. Nice.
Did you mention, or did you say how many days this flying was?
It was basically a 3-day event. So most of the guys showed up late Friday, and then it ended just earlier this morning. So I think Jim and I were probably a little foggy and we're sleep deprived and some late nights around the fire, but it was a good weekend.
Awesome. And once again, thank you so much for being on the podcast. I know that you probably would rather be sleeping right now and recuperating from it. Now, was there any other questions, Will, before we continue?
No, well, what motor do you fly? What's your go-to equipment, basically, I guess?
Yeah, I fly the Moster 185. I got the MY22, and I got it on a Kangoo Gambarook frame right now. It's a good setup.
I got the Moster 185, my 19. What's the difference between the 19 and the 22?
I read some of the stuff. Looks like they just did some engineering improvements. They kind of beefed it up. I think they tweaked a few things that I think were breaking. Obviously the exhaust that they fixed in recent years. I think that's been a huge improvement. We were talking about that over the weekend, where we haven't really heard a lot of the exhaust problem that the Viterazzi motors had, with some of the past editions of the motor. So the tweaking that they're doing to it seems to be like everybody there has shared the opinion that it's the it motor really right now.
That's good. Yeah, I'd like to upgrade mine. I know that with the pandemic, it's hard to get things from overseas and get motors and get frames and stuff. So I guess I'll just wait another year. Um, I do my 100-hour maintenance, and I do my 200-hour maintenance where I change out the head and stuff too. How long do you keep a motor? I keep mine for a long time. I mean, I just take care of it. It works great for a very long time. Um, how long do you keep the motor for, you personally?
Well, I'm kind of spoiled because since I've kind of run the school, I get new motors all the time. And so I'm pretty much always flying a new motor. Usually, like I'll maybe get, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 hours on each one. And then, because everything I have is for sale, right? Everything's for sale for the right price, right? And so I usually sell it, and like I'll have a kind of a batch of school motors that we'll use, and then I sell all those in the fall, and then I just get a whole new set of motors in the spring. So I'm very fortunate in that regard. So
All right, I'm officially jelly. Yes, I am. Yeah, I do a lot of flying myself. I just like you said, I fly early in the morning, fly late at night. Put on many super tons of hours, but I do lots of maintenance on mine. As far as like keeping those motors tweaked, is there anything that you would suggest to people that do fly Motor 185 that would keep their motor running at top condition, other than just the regular maintenance that Vitarazi puts out?
you know what? I think it's just TLC. You got to treat them nice. You got to care for them. You got to talk to them nice. You got to, maybe give them a nice little pet. But yeah, no, like honestly, like maintenance is, even we talked on the weekend, maintenance is key, especially like simple as a carburetor rebuild. A lot of times people, if they're having problems, they're sitting there trying to pull their motor, first thing, rebuild your carb. That might be your first thought about, having that thing looked after. So just treat them nice.
Nice. Jim, can you read the next question, please?
Yeah, I was wondering, how many students do you have this year?
I have 10 students this year. So the kind of the way that I run it is I kind of just a limit. Like I kind of have a designated number for a season, and then we start that group in the spring, and then they have all summer to do what they want to do. So there's no rush. Everybody learns at a different pace. Some guys can finish in a couple of weeks. Some guys it takes 4 or 5 months, whatever. It doesn't matter. And so if we limit the numbers, then it kind of gives everybody the best chance.
So are you at your limit this year?
Yeah, we're fortunate that we fill up we open up the registration in January, and it fills up pretty quick. And then we kind of start a waiting list after that. And, if we have cancellations or whatever, then we can fill spots. But yeah, we're lucky we can fill up every year so far. So it works out good.
That's great.
It looks like Bill H said, I heard they beefed up the starter for the Motor 185. Did they? And what do you think about it?
I think he is correct. I think they juiced up the bolt motor mount part, or the mount parts of it, if I'm not mistaken. And actually, we had that happen this weekend. One of the guys, I think his is a 18 MY18, and he came back from his flight, and the whole pull start assembly had fallen off. The bolts just twisted off. And so maybe that's part of the reason why the fix has happened. Like they just kind of beefed those things up. So yeah.
And what was unique about that situation is he doesn't even use it, because he had an electric starter on that machine. So it just broke, not even being used.
Yeah, we kind of suspect what happened was his starter cord might have just been maybe loose, and it got sucked back into the prop, and that may have just twisted the whole thing apart, as we think might have happened, but not sure.
Wow, so many things can happen on a paramotor. Will, was there any other questions?
Yeah, there's a couple of comments.
Okay.
Paraninja said, and it's a good point, a friend made a comment this weekend which rung true. There are no part-timers in paramotors. That's true. I mean, you're always, at least for me anyways, I'm always thinking about it if I'm not doing it. So Tony did have a question. He's asking if you have any EFI on your motor, any motors with electronic fuel injection.
Nope, we haven't as yet. We hope to. I think they're going to be released, I think in a year or two, I think, but I haven't flown one myself personally, no.
They're going to be released as in just standard or what?
Well, that was my understanding from Guttridge, and maybe somebody else could correct me, but I think that, you know, they're doing the testing phase right now where they're out doing competitions and that sort of stuff. And then they're thinking it might go to the public or in 2024 on the factory motors is kind of what I believe is what's going to happen. So I think that's going to be a game changer, honestly, if that comes to production. I think that could solve a lot of problems.
That would be really awesome. Anybody out there that's listening to us in the super chat, if you know that Guttridge is putting out the EFI as just general, I mean, just normal in 2024, let us know, or let us know what you know, because that would be really awesome. I guess I could wait just a little bit longer and get a motor with EFI. That'd be pretty cool. So what are the benefits of EFI? Do you know the benefits of the EFI?
I'm certainly not a mechanic. I don't profess to be one, but you know, from what I've heard is that it kind of takes away a lot of those mixture problems and retuning and that we struggle with the Walbro carbs, you know, so somebody might be able to answer that better than me.
Okay, that's awesome. Any other questions?
Yeah, Travis says, he's asking if someone from the US can fly paramotors in Canada without getting an ultralight license.
Yeah, that's a question that kind of comes up a lot. And I've kind of heard different workarounds. Like if a guy's already a licensed pilot in the US, then certainly I think that's a lot easier to just come up here and fly. Because I know that in the United States, you guys aren't required to have licenses, and so that creates a challenge if you come up here. And I don't have an answer. I don't think like there's a temporary permit or maybe Jim, do you know? Like, is there?
There is an international license, and I was thinking about this on the way home today. It would, but I don't know if the pilots from the US are able to get that international license because they don't have a pilot's license. Like Will would be able to get it because he's a GA pilot, but I don't know if the ultralight pilots could get it. And then if they did have that license, then they should be able to fly up here.
Yeah, yeah, it's an unfortunate loophole because I think it kind of limits, you know, we can come down to the US and enjoy your guys' events, and it would be so cool if he could get you guys up here and see some of the landscape that we have here.
There is another way that it could be done if you had an amicable flight instructor. You could get set up as a student pilot. And then they could fly.
That might be a workaround. It might be a logistic workaround. That could be a temporary option, maybe.
You know, for just those one or two flights where you might need some instruction, right? I mean, I gotcha.
Looks like Tony Marzano in the super chat said it should be released in 2023, and that's the rumor. So that would be pretty awesome. I mean, that's just right around. Wow, that's really right around the corner. I think it's time to get a new motor.
Yeah. You know, I got a chance to meet, I think it was Fabrizio from Guttridge Motors at Bad Apples. Super nice guy, but that would have been an awesome question for him.
Mm-hmm.
Dang it.
Yeah, all these things,
thinking.
Yeah, all these things that we think about now, we don't even think about when we have the right person in front of us.
Yeah, right.
So you have the butt fan dust off. That is actually your flying, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
And you do come to the States to do fly-ins. So over the course of the last 7 years, what fly-ins have you gone to, and are you planning on coming down here for any other fly-ins?
Yeah, well, actually, the only official fly-in that I've been to would be the Salton Sea. We went down there 2 years ago, and was able to participate in that one. That was super cool. And I was able to hook up with some of the instructors from Midwest Parajet and did my foot launch tandem certification kind of at the same time while we were down there. So that was a ton of fun, but it was really cool to see that many paramotors in one place. It doesn't happen in Canada. And I've flown in Arizona a couple of times, and just kind of network with some of the local pilots, and we kind of had an informal group gathering where we just went and flew, and they were gracious enough to give us a tour of the area and share their little airport, and so that was fun. But yeah, I would like to go to more in the future, like these bad apples, the endless foot drag, all these things like are all on the checklist. But summertime for any paramotor school is the busy time. So we're kind of getting into our start of our season here next weekend, and we'll be training all summer long. So if there's any opening of windows where I might be able to scoot away, then that's definitely on the radar for sure.
That is awesome. Did Jim just post one?
Yeah, I was wondering, you've been flying for quite a while. What was the most unique place you've been, the most incredible flight you've had?
You know what? In my own, like an hour east of where I live, there's called the Drumheller Valley. And it's kind of one of those places, we as paramotor pilots, I'm sure we all have that same thing. We're driving down any road and you see a spot and you're like, oh, that would be a cool place to fly. Oh, that would be a cool place to fly. But every time I would go through Drumheller Valley, I always thought that would be a cool place to fly. And so actually I did a video on it. I think it was like, I forget what it was called, but it was one of those flights. It was a perfect conditions. You get to go down in these old little valleys, and the landscape there was just unbelievable. It was like you're on a different planet. So that's kind of one of the most memorable ones in my neck of the woods anyway.
Awesome. Like I said, one of the best videos that I think are out there is the top 10 reasons not to fly a paramotor. If I know it's been a while, but can you recall some of the reasons offhand of why you would not want to?
Well, there's all those reasons, right? Like you meet a ton of new people, right? You got to get up way too early in the morning. You have this equipment that just doesn't work all the time. You spend so much money on this equipment, and then it kind of evolves where you got to keep buying more and more equipment all the time. Like, don't get into this. It's like a silly hobby. Don't do it, man.
Your children's college fund.
Yeah, exactly. But it was obviously, it was a play on words, but it's all so true, and these fly-ins are a testament to that, because you meet like-minded guys and ladies, and you fly with them and you sit there for hours on end just making new best friends, telling stories, so it's pretty cool. Don't buy a paramotor.
Yeah, don't buy a paramotor. So if you guys have not seen it, you can go over to, actually I'll post this in the super chat, but it is really good. I mean, of course you're going to go here and think, oh, the top 10 reasons not to buy a paramotor, or you think, okay, so this guy is not going to want a paramotor, but it is just one of the best videos that's out there that talks about our paramotor sport. So I'm gonna go ahead and share that in the super chat. It really was good. Actually, anybody in the super chat, have you already seen this video? If you have, what do you think about it?
All right. It's funny. I showed up, or I was meeting another guy to fly that morning, and like it just I didn't script any of it or nothing. I was just gonna kill some time and until my buddy showed up, and so I just thought, oh, maybe that might be a good idea. So I just started rattling off my head kind of why you shouldn't buy a paramotor.
Yeah, it's really awesome. So looking at the chat right now, was there any other questions that I didn't see yet?
Now, I've got a question about your instructing. What kind of led you that direction? What made you want to become an instructor?
Well, I guess it was kind of twofold. One, I love everything about paramotors, and I wanted to be able to kind of share that with other people and allow them to get into it as well. And it was kind of a succession plan for me because I was a couple of years away from retirement, and I'm thinking, well, because I wanted to retire, but I couldn't retire if I didn't have anything to do. And so I thought, well, if I can turn my passion into something that I can do every day and help other people do it, then maybe that might be a cool thing to do. And so, and at the time, there wasn't a lot of schools in Canada, and there still isn't. Like, I wish there was more, because Canada is such a big country, and well, of course, so is the States, but I mean, like, it's vast, right? And so if a school is in Quebec and a guy in British Columbia wants to learn how to fly a paramotor, he's got to travel across the country. And not a lot has changed, but I thought, well, if I can at least help to, you know, help somebody do it, and then maybe I would have more people to fly with too, you know?
So for the people that are going to go and see you and train with you, what are some of the things? I mean, what's kind of like the step-by-step, the kind of the syllabus of what people go through when they go over to your school?
Yeah, cool. Thanks for asking. Yeah, it's well, we start off kind of the first 2 days of my school. We do all ground school because we have to have that requirement for the licensing part in Canada. So we spend the first 2 days just in the classroom talking, going over meteorology and airspace and, you know, kind of logistics. Ours are called the Canadian Aviation Regs, so the cars instead of the FAR thing that you guys have. So we just kind of go through all that, go through logistics, and then obviously, if the weather allows, we're going to start doing our kiting, because the kiting is the most important component that we all know what we have to do. So beyond that, then it's kiting until we get really proficient at that, and then we start doing some groundwork with motors, doing some run-ups, throttle control, do a lot of simulator work. We'll just hang the guys up and, you know, just go through some mental rehearsals, because, you know, it's true that as much as it is a physical demanding sport, it's also mentally challenging as well. And you have to be prepared both physically and mentally, I think, to be very successful. And so, you know, we do a lot of rehearsals, visualization stuff in the simulators. And then I like to do tandems with every student. And then we go up and we just do exercises in the sky. You know, I learn how to control oscillations and do pitch control and throttle control, and kind of work through some of those things so that when they go to do their first solo, it's not such a sensory overload. They kind of know what to expect. And so once that's done, everybody's feeling good and whatever, then we'll start doing flights from there. And so we have to do 30. I think it's pretty similar to what a standard is. 5 hours solo, 30 flights. And some guys can do it relatively quick. Sometimes guys take a bit longer. And the weather is obviously the biggest limiting factor, right? So we only fly when it's perfect conditions, and, you know, especially when we're learning, because we don't want anybody to kind of get scared or have that thing happen due to weather that might cause them not to want to fly anymore. So
Do your students have a reserve on the student rig, or do you not have the reserves?
no, we don't train with reserves for a lot of the reasons that are out there, because you don't want that accidental deployment. You know, like these A wings that we're flying now are super safe, super stable, and we're flying in the right conditions. So there shouldn't be any reason that you need one. We'd certainly introduce them towards the end of the training. So, you know, like the last maybe 10 flights or 5 or 10 flights, you know, then we'll throw it on so that they can get used to what it feels like. Maybe do some rehearsals of deployment in the simulator, that sort of stuff. But the initial training, no reserves, no.
Gotcha. Jim, you posted another question?
Yeah, Para Ninja asked the question, what's the scariest moment you've ever had?
The scariest moment I've ever had. I walked to the LZ and my engine didn't start.
That's
I
scary.
couldn't fly.
That is
That's
scary.
scary, man.
Was that a
That's really-
dream? A nightmare?
Yeah, no fun aside. Like scariest moment. I'm fortunate, I guess. Like I haven't had a lot of nothing bad has happened to me. You know, you had engine outs and those things. That helps you gain experience as a pilot. I guess like back in the early days, maybe that was it's scary at the time. Or you like, oh my God, my engine out. What am I gonna? I'm gonna feel like you're gonna die, but then you're not gonna die. You just gotta land, right? So, but I haven't had any experience of collapses or severe equipment failures. I have never tossed my reserve.
So you do fly with the reserve.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely.
And that's all the time. And what kind of reserve do you have? And is it a front mount or side mount?
Yeah, I side mount reserve, and right now I have a Dudic Globe reserve, just like the round ones. And actually, kind of funny related story that happened over this weekend. So where we train at Innisfail Airport, there's also a skydiving operation that goes on there. And I didn't know this because I've never skydived, but when we were kind of debriefing around the fire with some of the skydiver guys, they have in their reserve systems, it's like an automatic deployment system. So, which is, their lifesaver, like if they black out or whatever they're doing for their free falls, this device will deploy automatically within a certain altitude. But one of the jumpers, his system malfunctioned and his reserve deployed. We were also like all of us were sitting there on the weekend, and we see this guy, he's coming down and his reserve deploys. And while he starts spinning around, and he got hurt, unfortunately. So the ambulance came and took him away. He's going to be all right, fortunately. But that, I guess I don't know why I'm even telling the story, but it's just a reserve story and kind of a layer of why we don't train with them, because you don't want them to deploy unless you need it. You don't want to, if you think you're in trouble and you throw it when you actually don't need to, then it could be worse off than just flying your wing.
I totally agree. Have you ever been to an SIV course?
I have not. I want to for sure, but I have not done it yet.
Are there SIV courses in Canada, or would have to come to the States to find someone that can do an SIV?
Yeah, I only know of one guy, and we tried to set it up. We wanted to bring him to us, and we were going to put the SIV on as Max. Am I going to mispronounce his last name? But I think it's Fernal or Max Fernal. He's like a super experienced free flyer, and he does SIV training in BC. But he's the only guy that I know that does it in Canada. So other than that, we'd have to go down to the States to find an instructor down there to do it.
Okay. Will, any other questions?
Yeah, I've got a question, and there's one in the chat. But so, do you have any interest in acro, or I mean, what do you do? What's a typical flight for you?
I have zero interest in acro. It's not my wheelhouse. I do some fun little wing overs and that, something real minor. But for me, flying is just going out and flying and taking in the sights and getting down low in valleys and, seeing the world that you can't really see from any other perspective than what a paramotor provides. So that's my thing. I know there's a lot of guys that are into the acro and they do it. And I think, guys that don't do acro doesn't mean that you're any less of a pilot. Like I know that I've seen comments online where, I'm demoing, I could do a video on a wing. I says, well, he's flying this thing and he didn't even do a barrel roll or whatever, and like, well, that's not my thing. But whatever.
Well, I mean, how many people go out there and buy a wing just to go do barrel rolls? It's like,
Yeah.
I've done SIV courses, and I've got, I've done a lot of acro at the SIV course, but when it comes to throwing the paramotor on, it's like, I don't want to do that because you can really stretch out your lines, really shorten the life of your wing and your lines. And in 1 year of taking SIV courses and doing some acro, I stretched out my lines. So in 1 year, my brand new, beautiful Roadster 3, I had basically destroyed. It never got wet, still crispy, but with all the acro, it just stretched all the lines, and that's $800 to replace.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and it kind of goes back to the training thing. Like I'll teach people kind of the basics, like the bare bones of flying. But then if you want to learn how to do acro, you should go take that course, like the SIV. And that's maybe another reason why I don't do it, because I've never been trained how to do it properly. And so I don't want to go out and make a really bad mistake, not knowing what I'm doing.
absolutely agree. It's about 7:45. We only have you for 15 more minutes. Was there any questions in the on the panel or in the super chat that we missed?
Nick Griffith was asking the coldest you've flown in. What's the coldest temperature you've flown in?
Ah,
Good
We'll see if
question
it
for
beats
us
you.
Canadians.
yeah.
I'm in Canadian, well, I guess I'm a fair weather flyer, and maybe that wouldn't be in the warmer climate terms, but my kind of limit is if it's -8 on the ground, I typically won't fly, but -8 is kind of, I'll go fly. It's still cold. I wear the heated vests and the heated gloves, and I've got balaclava and ski goggles and layers on. So as long
Like
as
the
you're
Michelin
comfortable,
man, aren't you? You've
Yeah.
got all those
Yeah.
layers of clothing on. -8?
Yeah, -8.
So that's -22 Fahrenheit.
I couldn't imagine.
Yeah,
No,
it's cold.
I get cold under 32 degrees. I don't want to do anything below 32 Fahrenheit. Burr. I'm
Burr.
burr. But hey, do you just do foot launch? Do you do any triking or anything else like that?
Yep, I do trike as well. Like I have a tandem trike that we use for the training, and so we take the pilots up and do training and stuff. So yeah, I'm doing both.
So what do you? Okay, I know that you don't. It's hard. You can't say what do you like better, foot flying or foot launching or trike, because they are the same thing but yet totally different under different circumstances. So on average, as far as like percentage wise, you do 50%, foot flying. I'm more 75% foot flying, maybe 25%, wheels. How about you? How do you fly?
Yeah, I would say I'm probably like 90% foot launch, and then maybe 10% trike. I like for the trike, I do it because I think it's a good training tool, and we do it for that. But if I'm just going to fly, to go somewhere to fly or fly on my own, it's foot launch, because I don't know, it's just kind of more versatile, maybe, I guess, in a way, so to speak.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It is. And, you got to have a longer runway and, good grass. And,
Yeah.
I mean, there's just a little bit more things that you need. And of course, if you have higher winds, I mean, I guess if you know what you're doing, you could probably launch in higher winds, but it's kind of a low wind under 6 mile an hour type of thing for trikes. Now, do you just do trikes as far as with, do you do intro flights? As far as like tandem type of thing? So you do mostly tandem flights, and you don't do just regular trike flights for yourself, right? It's mostly tandem with people.
Yeah, that's right. But like usually when I'm going out to fly the trike, it's for training purposes for myself, so that when I'm then going to take a passenger up, then my skills are proficient, that I feel comfortable taking somebody with me. So when I fly the trike, sometimes it's solo, but most of the times I'll just pack sandbags on the front and just train with different weights And, so that when somebody
Oh.
comes and, they say, oh, I'm 200 pounds or I'm 130 pounds, then I know what that feels like. So,
Okay, that's interesting. How long you been a trike exemption? Or wait a minute, do you have trike exemption there, or are you able to do a trike with passengers up in Canada without a exemption?
yeah, no, we can't get a passenger carry rating here in Canada. There's only kind of two ways that we can fly with a passenger. One is, so like if both people were pilots, like you and I, we could go and fly trikes, like do a tandem flight, but you have to be an instructor to be able to take a passenger, or you have to have two pilots. That's kind of really the two ways that we can take passengers here. But like I can't take my buddy for if he's not interested to fly, then I just can't take him for just a rec flight type thing.
Okay, interesting. Will, was there another question out there?
Yeah, there was, but I posted a question, about, because my favorite part of the sport is flying low and slow, and just getting that perception of skimming across the ground. I just was curious as to what everyone in the panel was, or not in the panel, in the chat was saying. So, anyways, yeah, are you a Kangook dealer? That's what Bill H wants to know.
Yeah, Kangook.
Right on.
Are you able to import anything else other than that? I mean, different wings, different motors?
I can also get Parajet motors. So it's either Kangook or Parajet motors, but right now I'm just dealing with Dudek as far as wings goes.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's their availability, Dudek? I mean, when you order a wing, how long does it take to get one in now?
It's very slow. It's painful. And I don't know if it's across the board with all the other manufacturers, but I just ordered one last week, and I think they have their delivery scheduled in the calendar week. So it's week 33. So that's I think that's like the end of August sometime or something like that, whatever week 33 is. That's the wait time right now. So it's a few months.
Just in time for the new model to come out, right?
I know. Yeah. Yeah.
It is what it is,
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Well, we only have you for a little bit longer, so if there's any more questions for Jason, please put them in the super chat so we can ask them, because he's going to be leaving us in about 7 minutes. So questions for Fly Guy Alberta, Jason, just let us know in the super chat. Of course, tag Will Fly because he's checking them out. Oh, and of course, Jim. So Jim and Will are looking for questions. So we only got you for a little bit longer. Any plans for coming down here for a future fly-in, or just coming down here and hanging out with some people, or what are your plans other than teaching students right now?
Yeah, well, like I said, I don't have any solid plans right now because my teaching is probably going to take up most of my time for at least the beginning of the summer. So I might be able to scoot away midsummer, but I don't have any solid plans right now. I really wanted to go. There was I forget who was putting it on, but they had this thing where you could sign up to this group and you could go fly Moab. They were kind of had it where you could go and do like a tour thing. So if anything like that pops up again, I would be totally down. If anybody wants to fly Moab, I want to go to Moab.
How far is that from the arch? That is the arch, right?
Yeah.
That's number one on my bucket list. Definitely.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to go there too.
Hey,
Yeah, it's about
halfway, wouldn't it, Sean?
If we decide to all go to Moab, I would go there too.
It's like from here, I think it's about 18-hour drive, but I'd do it.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Purdon's, have you heard of Dave Purdon's flying down in Ohio? Ohio. Yeah, down in Ohio. That's an awesome place. That's a good flying to go to, for the States. But I'm down for Moab.
Daniel Roos said he flew Moab last month. It's amazing.
Oh yeah, it looks incredible. That's a definite bucket list thing that I want to do very soon.
So
Great.
knowing what you know about Moab at this point, would you fly under the arch?
If the weather was right, yeah, absolutely. But I've heard that the weather's got to be right.
Yeah.
I think you'd have to schedule probably to be there for maybe a week or two. I don't know, but just to find those little windows where you could do it the right way.
Yeah. And that GoPro's working. Might only get one shot.
Yeah,
Definitely.
exactly.
Well, my friend, I definitely appreciate you hanging out with us and chatting about all the fun things that you've done up in Canada, your school, and hanging out with Jim for this fly-in, the butt fan dust off. You know what? Next year you might want to say something like, "This is when it's going to be," and I don't know. We might need to come up there and be able to fly with you guys. That would be fun.
If you do, come on up. We'd love to have you.
Very
All right.
cool. Anybody want to do a thumbnail?
Oh, yeah.
That's right. Thank you very much. Let's go ahead and do a
I gotta
thumbnail.
put
real
that in
quick.
my file, Oh my
All
God.
right. 1, 2, 3.
Oh no, wait. I was putting my glasses off.
Oh
Okay,
my
fine.
gosh. Let me put my glasses on.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'm gonna do one more. Dang it. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Feeling the pressure. 1, 2, 3, and we got it.
I can breathe.
I
Oh
always
my
forget I
goodness.
have my glasses on, and then you put yours on, Sean.
Well,
That cracks me up.
it's like,
Slide off.
it looks cool with glasses. I mean,
You
look
are
very,
cool.
very intelligent when you have glasses.
Yes.
You are
Yeah.
PPG grandpa.
on.
I mean, yeah, looks
He's
good.
like he's like the professor from Gilligan's Island.
Oh my God. Well, at least you didn't say I was the skipper, so I'm
I
all
was
right.
thinking at least you didn't say Mr. Howe.
I would like to have his money, but that's about it.
And I know. I love you, Grandpa.
Absolutely. I love you guys. I love Mondays and stuff. I think this is great. It was really fun.
Yes.
Jason, thank you very much for hanging out with us. And go ahead and one more plug about your school, how to get up with you and your school and all that stuff.
Yeah, no. Paramotor Sports Canada. If anybody wants to find some training, look me up. Appreciate you guys. Thanks you very much.
Awesome.
you,
Well, thank you very
Jason.
much. We appreciate
Safe.
you. Enjoy your evening.
All right. Take care.
All right,
Yeah,
bye.
Jason.
Nice,
Bye-bye.
Nice, Jason.
Well, that was really fun. Learned a lot of stuff. I love talking
Yeah.
to other instructors and people that's been
Pretty
flying
cool.
for 7 years. That is so awesome. And I guess I forgot to ask him all the different things that he's flown, because I think he's flown more than just paramotors.
Yeah, it's over 7 years, I'll bet.
Yeah.
Sure, he's got a lot of experience.
He's pretty smart, man. Yeah, he knows his stuff.
Knows his
Flying
stuff.
stuff. The flying.
Well, since we're here, let me go ahead and say hi to everybody in the chat.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and go back up. Joshua Marsh, Bill H, PPG, the other Nick, Travis D, Bill H, Nick Griffith, Rick Westall.
I'll just wave to everybody.
Wetzel, did I say that right? I hope so. Of course, Jim from PPG, Will Fly. I'm just gonna put out there PPG Grandpa because I know that I posted something. I just haven't got to myself yet. Rick, Rick again. Will Fly, Tony Marzano, Bill H, Shane Weinman. What's up, Shane? Aaron I, the PPG guy. I haven't seen you around, bud. Let's see. Scrolling down, lots of chatting in here. My goodness, so much chatting.
Love it.
Gary Collins. Will Fly, you put his Paramotor Sports Canada.ca in there. Thank you very much. James. How you doing, Just James? Paramotor NC. Good to see you, buddy. Joshua Marsh again, Warren Gibson, Mark H, PPG Trike Jockey. What's up?
Whoa.
I know, Para Ninja. I don't have
Yeah.
time. It's really difficult when we have a guest on to watch the chat. So thank you, Will Fly, and thank you, Jim. We definitely appreciate you looking at this and keeping everything. Oh, Flying Flamingo Jade was here.
Yay.
What's
My
up,
girl.
Jade? I
love
know,
you,
right? Daniel Roosh, he said something here too. He said carb and decompression ports are key to an easy start. I'm going to say I agree with you 100%, Daniel Roosh. I agree with you. The decompression port and the carb, and cleaning the head. You just pop off that head every 5 to 10 hours. I pop off the head, clean off the head, and clean out that decompression port. It is so important. And I've had no problems. Oh, and change out the spark plug every 10 hours. Let's see. I think I'm still scrolling down. Nick Griffith again, Bill H, Will Fly, lots. Oh, there I am, Sean Symons, PPG Grandpa. I see myself finally.
Hey, I know that guy.
Hey, that's that guy that looks good
Yeah.
in glasses. Shane Wyman, John Wayne. What's up, John Wayne? Glad that you're here.
Howdy.
All of our peeps that are normally here, and
love
we
it.
also have that live stream that we do. And right now, our live stream, audio live stream, Haikui and Jillian Wade joined us, and they just happened to find us. So welcome. I'm very glad that
Cool.
you made it here.
Welcome,
also.
welcome.
Guys.
Yes.
Love it.
Let's see. Was there any names that I missed?
Yeah,
Oh,
keep going down.
Angela Preslick. There you are.
Hi,
I
Angela. Love ya.
knew you were there someplace. Walter from Australia. Good day, mate.
Walter,
I was just
sugar.
thinking about him. I
Like
didn't see him in the
sugar.
chat.
Walter, you know what? I'm glad that you posted something because I know the tomorrow will come.
Yep.
And I got Padre Brook PPG tuning in late. What'd I miss? All right, let's go ahead and go back to the very beginning. And
I'll start over for you, Padre.
yeah, we'll hook you up. Let's start you off at the very beginning. Whisper Jet America. Got in from work. We'll rewatch later. Well, thank you, Whisper Jet
Thank
America.
you.
Eric, ppglear.com is in the house
Yay.
also. What's up?
What's up,
And
Eric?
Padre Brook PPG donated $5 in the super chat. Thank you so much, buddy. Appreciate it.
Cool. Thanks.
Walter and Angela, Bill H. All right, guys, that's awesome. So do we want to just say this is it for today, or do we want to do an after show, invite people in, or what do we want to do, guys? I mean, it's a Monday. Some people can fly. What do you think? Do you want to kill it?
I'm all right with
Yeah.
hanging out for 15 minutes. If
Oh,
somebody
okay
can
then.
say something.
If Will wants to hang out, then I'll hang
If
out.
Will wants to hang out, I'll tell you what we'll do then, guys. If we're going to hang out for 15 more minutes, if you want to hang with us, let me put the Zoom information in the super chat, and you guys are more than welcome to jump on. Walter, jump on so we can chat with you too, but it's been a long time. There it is. I'm pasting it, making sure that it's clickable. So we got a clickable link, and we got the meeting ID and passcode. So you can either click the link and join us on Zoom, or you can put in the actual meeting ID numbers and passcode, which takes a lot longer than just clicking a link. So because I'm putting this out there for the world, I'm going to enable waiting room. So sorry about that, guys. We just want to make sure that you guys jump on and we're good. We had one time that somebody jumped on and it was not good. It was not one of our people, and they just kind of hacked us. Remember that, Will?
Yeah, I do.
That, Jim?
I
That
remember
was
that
pretty
too.
fun.
Don't want to do that again. So next week, Monday, we don't have anybody for the show, but I was thinking that we could either do a pre-recorded, or maybe we can do a short podcast that's all about FAR 103. I'm I'm writing this down to remind myself. FAR 103 and what was the other thing I was going to do? And airspace. So FAR 103 and airspace. Are you guys up to par on your FAR 103 and airspace? Are there any questions since we got 15 minutes? You want to talk about FAR 103 and airspace?
We can, but then you won't have anything to talk about next week.
That's if I even do one. I'm thinking about not, because it's Monday. It's a holiday. Who's going to be watching PPG Grandpa's Paramotor Podcast on Monday? Next Monday.
What holiday?
Ask the chat.
Labor Day?
Yeah.
Our chatters that are on
It's a holiday here, and I'm watching you.
What holiday is it in Canada?
I don't know. It's a day off.
It's a day off. Yeah, who cares? It's a day off.
I think it's called Victoria Day.
Victoria's Secret Day. I love it. We should always have
Oh.
Victoria's Secret Day.
Gosh. Wah, wah.
I think we call it May 2-4 is what most people call it, because it's always around the 24th of May.
Okay. That's cool.
824. Well, yeah, I mean,
And
that
you
couldn't
have-
hurt. That's always a good idea to cover, 103 and airspace. Whatever you'd like to do is fine with me.
Well, guys in the super chat, what do you think? Would you watch next week Monday, or do you guys have something to do, like hang out with your family or on a vacation or something? Let me know in the super chat and we'll figure it out. So FAR 103 in airspace. One of the cool things that I like about our FAR 103 is that we can do so much, and the rules and regulations are very, very lax compared to Canada, right? I mean, in Canada, you can't fly lower than, what is it, 500 feet for any structure? So, I mean, is that how
built
that
up
works?
areas,
What's that?
built up areas, you're not supposed to be under 500 feet.
So you can be above 500 feet and fly over a town?
Yeah, well, when it's a town, it's supposed to be 1,000 feet.
So you can fly over a town in a paramotor in Canada, but only because you have a license, right? Just like just regular GA can fly over a town.
Mhm.
Do you know our FAR 103 rules and regulations, Jim?
Not really. I know
Not
some
really.
of them. I know
Yeah.
that you guys are required to have strobe after
Right.
dark.
Right, just for 30 minutes before sunrise and after sunset. How about you?
No,
So you can you fly at night though? You have
No.
to, so you have to actually land at before sunset.
oh no, we can fly for 20 to 30 minutes after sunset.
Without a strobe and in any airspace?
Not in any airspace, in flyable airspace.
In flyable airspace? Okay. Now, in under FAR 103, we can fly with a strobe 30 minutes before sunrise and 30 minutes after sunset in G airspace only. And a lot of people don't know that. They think that, they can go up 30 minutes before sunrise and get up to 10,000 feet and watch the sunrise. Nope, even with the strobe, you can't. It's always in non-controlled airspace, and G is our only non-controlled airspace, even though E is flyable and it may not be controlled at that particular place, but after sunset or before sunrise for 30 minutes, we're not allowed to fly that in with the strobe on. So
Yeah, there is something that's interesting about, and there's a little bit of misconception about Class E airspace, but all Class E airspace is controlled airspace 100% of the time. It doesn't mean that you're being controlled, but other airplanes are being controlled or have the ability to be controlled by ATC. So that's the reason. And a lot of times, we talk about cloud clearances and stuff. Once you understand the reasoning behind it, if Class E is controlled, then there's more separation that is needed because it's busier. So
Right.
I'm assuming that it would be the same in Canada.
Yeah, in Canada, how far away do you have to stay away from clouds, or can you fly through clouds?
You can't fly through clouds with a paramotor,
Okay.
and that's IFR. I've got a video that I'm going to share with you guys. My little sister, she's a commercial pilot, and she's just rocketing through clouds. Like, it's only partially cloudy, but from cloud to cloud to cloud to cloud, she's just flying straight through them all because it's IFR.
Right.
Could you imagine if you were messing around a cloud? This plane would just go right through you.
Yeah, and can you imagine taking down a jumbo jet because you're flying your bed sheet and butt fan?
That would just be wrong.
Yeah,
That would be terrible.
that'd be horrible. So,
And I laugh. I don't mean that. I mean, I
oh, I
couldn't
know.
imagine that.
I mean, I can't imagine that'd be just horrible. So, what are your distances that you have to stay away from clouds, and is it different in different airspaces in Canada? How does that work for you?
It is a little different, but it's generally you have to be 500 feet away from the cloud. Like, you've got to have 2-mile visibility out forward, and you've got to be at least 500 feet below the cloud, unless, of course, you're in like an airport area, aerodrome, because then if the clouds are lower, then you need to avoid the clouds, but you want to be at a certain elevation so that you're not in any circuits or anything like that.
So, if there's
So-
one big fluffy cloud out there, how far do you need to stay away laterally on the sides, the top, and the bottom? So 500 feet from the bottom, that's what we have too.
Yeah.
How far do you have to stay away from the sides? Do you know that offhand, or you got to look that up?
I can't remember exactly. I think it's a mile.
It's what?
I think it's a mile.
A mile? Our minimum is 2,000 feet to the side, under 10,000 feet, and above G airspace.
Well, that's pretty close to a mile, right?
Well, let's see.
No, a mile's 5,000 feet.
A
Isn't it?
mile is
5,200.
5,200 and something,
80.
2,080.
5,280.
Yeah, 5,280 is a mile. So 2,000 feet is,
A little less than a half a mile.
yeah.
Right. So. Okay.
And that's
But,
minimum.
No, that's not completely accurate, because you're allowed to, as long as there's an opening and there's holes so that you can visually reference the ground, you can go through the opening.
Long as
And
you
go
have
down.
long as you have your 2,000 feet. I mean, it can't be this little tiny, 20-foot opening. You can't go up a 20-foot opening because, number one, you have to stay away from the clouds, from underneath 500 feet, right? You have to stay 2,000 feet away from a cloud vertically. So unless there's a 2,000 foot opening, you can't go up a little tiny hole, because if you go up there and it closes up, now you're really screwed. Because number one, you're illegal because you can't see the ground reference. Number two, how are you going to get down? And if you do pass through the clouds, that's illegal also. So, I mean, you're really screwed. So the cloud thing, you really need to have, like, it's just a big fluffy cloud. It's a big fluffy cloud, and not the whole sky is just a cloud. Oh, there's a little opening. Don't do that. That's scary. I wouldn't do it. But, I'm a grandpa.
And you're still alive.
And I'm still alive. I've heard a lot of stories about people being caught up there and then trying to get down. Can you imagine trying to get down? And I mean, we don't have the apps and Google Maps and stuff like that are not that accurate when we're flying to kind of judge, how to get down. And how about the power lines? How about the trees? Oh, that'd be scary. I would not want to do that. Which is why we got the FAR 103 rules and regulations, and that's one of them is cloud clearance. In G airspace, you need a mile of visibility and clear of clouds.
Yeah, it says here, I just looked it up, 500 feet below it and 2,000 feet from it. So it's the same.
Yeah, it certainly is scary. I mean, I have never done this, but let's just say I did do it in an airplane. I would imagine it would be extremely scary.
As far as what? Going
I've
up.
been socked in before as a new pilot, a new fixed wing pilot. I've been socked in before, and it is spooky. You know, you don't have your instrument rating or.
So you were flying. So someone would be flying VFR and get stuck up there. How would they be able to? Now they're not in trouble for flying above the clouds VFR if it closes up and on their route. Are they?
So long as they're in VMC, which is visual meteorological conditions, but still, I mean, if anything went wrong, you'd be toast. I mean, I'm not saying that, I mean, you can come down through it or whatever. Yeah, no problem. But I'm just saying that it would be scary because it was scary as a new pilot to have that happen to me.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's no reason to stack the deck against you, no reason to do that.
Well, when it comes to the FAR 103, the rules and regulations are there not for us. It's to protect everybody else. Every rule and regulation is there to protect the people, property on the ground. It's not to protect us at all. Obviously, if we stay away from clouds and we don't fly through the clouds, we have a better chance of not damaging or hurting somebody else that's also flying GA or commercial. I mean, you got to be careful about that. And 700 miles an hour, even if they didn't touch us, the wake would just shred us. I can't even imagine that.
Oh yeah, man. You know what it's like to go through your own wake. I couldn't imagine what it'd be like to go through a big jet's wake.
No, there's been numerous times I've been flying and around big fluffy clouds. And of course, you have your neck on a swivel like you have to, like you need to. And just out of nowhere, an airplane just goes, comes out of a cloud and just goes right in front of you. And you're like, well, crap. Glad I wasn't that much further this way.
Yeah, and those are the pilots that are not looking out their window.
No.
They're looking at their instruments.
Yeah.
So, I mean, which is what they should be doing, especially if they're in and out of clouds. I mean, you can't look up every 2 seconds or whatever so yeah, I say the rules are there, the regulations are there to keep other people safe and keep us safe and to keep our sport, alive and healthy.
Yep. And the FAA has also said and made a statement saying that if you break the rules and you put them on video and you put them up on YouTube, they're going to get you. That is evidence now. They're saying that your evidence that you post on YouTube is now going against you. So if you don't know your rules and regulations on FAR 103 and your airspace, I suggest you go through your videos and take down things that could be, yeah. So we got somebody that's going to pop in, Brooke Kennedy. So, all right.
Yeah, I have a feeling they're kind of on a mission now.
They are on a mission. They are on a mission. So enjoy flying and having a good time. Be very, very careful when you are flying that anything that you post on the internet, you're not breaking any rules.
Yeah, or the perception of breaking rules.
There you go. It's a perception. The whole rules and regulations, FAR 103, is all up to interpretation, which means that it's all whatever you post.
Yeah,
and if it looks like
their interpretation,
right? So something that you can do to protect yourself, and one of the things that I do is I use the Skyfly High and also have it set to record my my flight, my tracking and all that stuff, and it moves it over to another site that I can look and manipulate in 3D. So if somebody says, "Hey, you flew over this, or you did this, or you did that," I can go back to my flight log and actually look at my ground tracking, see where I am, how high I am, airspace, and all that stuff, so I can protect myself. Did you know that it's also, I don't know if it's illegal, but you're not supposed to fly over a 4-lane highway that's busy. So if you're flying over 4-lane highways, crossing over something, you're not supposed to do that because that's considered congested.
Yeah. What's up,
What's up,
Brooke?
Brooke? What's up, Brooke? You're on mute, so we can't hear you yet. There
Hey,
you go.
what's up?
What's up? You got anything for us, or are you just hanging out with us for a little bit?
Just hanging out. I'm a newbie. I've got
Oh.
2 flights.
2 flights. Congratulations. How you like it?
I love it.
I love it.
Welcome.
That's
I trained
cool.
with Kylo down in Louisiana.
Nice. Kyle's an awesome dude. I love him.
He really is. He worked with me. He's patient with me. Took me a minute, but I got up on the 3rd trip down there and ended up having to buy a trike, a little light trike, and I love it.
Nice. What kind of trike? The retractor trike or what?
No, I got the Kangut Basic,
Okay. And what motor do you fly?
Mac Fly with a Dudek Universal,
Awesome. What size wing?
31.
31. I fly a 28, so a 31 would probably be nice and lifty. What's your all-up weight?
Well, it's gone down 40 pounds since I started training. I lost 40
Congratulations.
pounds, so I think I'm
Congratulations.
right at 320.
Okay. That is awesome. Yeah, I bet you love it. So what kind of, so the flights that you took so far, that was just for training flights, or is that after training flights?
Just training flights.
Just training flights.
Flew up to around 800 feet for half an hour or so, and then did a couple touch and goes, and had some good landings. So
Well, that's awesome having good landings.
right.
Yeah, that's a plus.
So do you live close to Kyle or
No, I'm in Northwest Arkansas.
Northwest Arkansas?
If you know where Bentonville, Arkansas, the home of Walmart, that's where I live, about 15 miles from there.
Wow. So you pass right by me then when you go down to Kyle.
Where are you?
Conway,
Oh, okay.
just
Yeah,
north
right
of
through Conway.
Little Rock. Yep.
My son actually lives in Little Rock right now. So
All right. Well, I tell you what, once you get your training and everything's good and you're flying, come on over and let's fly, because you're not too far away from me.
yeah, I'm all in for that. The weather is trash right now, though.
It's been pretty rough. My dog even said, "Dude, it's rough."
It's
Yeah. Yeah. I need to make a t-shirt that says it's rough, but I got
Rough air.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm glad that you like it. So you're triking, yeah. How do you like your wing?
With 2 flights, it's kind of hard to tell, but it will carve a little more than I thought it might be in an A-wing. I was able to make some pretty sharp turns. My first flight, my wing got a little crooked, and I took off crooked and headed right for toward the trees, and Kyle's in my ear saying left, 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 and I finally cranked it and just turned it parallel the trees and gained altitude. It was pretty cool.
Awesome. So how much more training do you have?
Well, I'm done training with Kyle. I need to get some flights. Just right now, I'm looking to get some taxi practice. Just probably will work on that this weekend.
Awesome. Well, if the weather's ever good over here, make sure you hit me up, and I'll give you my cell phone number. Actually, everybody, here's my cell phone number: 501-747-3558. Hey, it's recorded. You can always rewind. And text me if you want some stickers. Text me 501-747-3558. Let me know who you are and your address. I will send them out. And once again, I apologize. I haven't had time yet to send out any stickers. So I got a whole list, and I got a whole bunch of envelopes and thank you notes and stuff that I'm writing, and they'll be out very soon. I know I said that already, but hey, it's busy over here. Did you get my number or you need it again?
I tell him.
All right, 501-747-3558. Then just text me, let me know who you are, and let's go triking sometime.
Yeah, buddy.
Sounds good. Well, it is almost 8:30. Anybody have anything? Is it time to wind down?
Yeah, I guess it is. There was who was it? I'm sorry, I can't remember, but someone was asking about, Fly Swamper got a reference for that 4-lane highway claim. And my answer to that is absolutely. Anything that the FAA could possibly consider congested will be considered congested if there's a claim against you. And most of those claims are going to come, most of those complaints they're going to come from people who call the FSDO or whatever, the airport, and complain about you. So, yeah, I mean, can I say one more thing, Sean?
Say whatever you want to. We're here as long as we want to.
I was looking at just going back through it. Every time I go back through the advisory circular for the Part 103, I read something that catches my attention. So it is number 4, section E. You are responsible for the future direction the government takes with respect to ultralight vehicles. The action of the ultralight community will affect the direction the government takes in future regulations. So right then and there, I mean, that's pretty, I mean, there's a lot of things that are kind of vague and left kind of, it's kind of in a gray area, but that's not in a gray area right there. So we just have to do whatever it takes to make sure that we stay well within Part 103.
Exactly. Don't post videos that show you breaking FAR 103 and airspace rules and regulations. I mean, that right there is going to get the FAA to look at our sport more than they already are.
Yeah. And our sport's growing.
It is growing like a weed. Unbelievable how fast this sport's going. The question is, though, once you train and once you get your gear and fly, how long is this entertaining for you? How long is this fun for you before you're like, all right, I'm done. Sell my gear, go do something else. I mean, is this something that, most people think that they'll stay in forever? How long have you been flying? And how long do you want to continue to fly? Is this just a weekend thing or a fair weather thing? Or are you up every single morning and you don't care what the weather is like and you're like, I'm going to fly no matter what? Well, I'm going to fly no matter what, as long as the wind is and the weather is good.
Yeah, I think I'll follow suit.
Yeah, I mean, I love it so much that I do the podcast. I mean, this is the third year, the third season of the podcast. Every Monday is just fun to meet up with new people. Brooke came on here. That I wasn't expecting to meet Brooke, but there we go, right down the road from me in Bentonville. Right down the road.
I can tell you, as a new guy, I'm all over this sport. I'm eating up with it. And you was talking about it growing. In the 2 months that I went down training on and off for the weekends and stuff, there was probably 18 guys got in there at Kyle School. I mean, it's growing like crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's just one school in one area.
Right.
So
that's what's cool about this sport. So I've been on the show, going on 2 years already, hang with you guys and everything. Yeah. And I've met so many people. I don't fly, but I've met so many people, and I've brought so many people in, introduced people to the show.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, remember, a lot of them came in, didn't really know a whole lot of people in the sport. And then you get them on the show and they talk about what they do and their love for the sport, and everybody learns from each other. And pretty soon they're going to other fly-ins and meeting more people. And it's amazing. And it's so fun. It is so fun.
It is.
Appreciate y'all. I do.
Definitely. Brooke, are you planning on going to any fly-ins anytime soon?
I've already taken off the week of endless foot drag,
Good deal.
the whole week. And my wife and I are going to Maine in October. I'm planning on taking my machine.
Good
Nice.
deal. Will, are you planning on going to EFD too?
Yes, but not this year.
Gotcha. I'll try to make I'll try to make a fly-in. I'm not sure which one I'll be able to make. I mean, I'll try my best. I would like to try EFD. I don't know. Dave Purden sounds like a pretty cool fly-in.
Dave Purden's is awesome if it's dry, and that was weird. That was like I said, a hurricane came through, and so I think this year is going to be a lot better.
Sounds good. Well, it is 8:30. We've been talking for an hour and a half on the air. I really appreciate everyone. Looks like we got somebody else that jumped on here. Michael joined our live audio stream. So thank you very much for listening to us. You can always
Michael.
find us at iflyparamotors.com. PPG Grandpa's Paramotor Podcast. You can search for that. You can find us every Monday at clearproptv.com. And if you just want to listen to us, you can always go over to paratalk.org, and that is our audio podcast from Podbean. Yeah, Podbean hosts that.
Yeah.
But anyway, had a great time. Thank you very much for hanging out with us. We had Jason Guttridge, which is our Fly Guy Alberta from Canada. He was flying for 7 years, been teaching for 4 to 5 years. He had his very first annual fly-in in Canada, butt fan dust off. And we learned a lot from him. That was really awesome.
Yeah.
We also got Brooke that jumped on and let us know that he's a brand new pilot, been flying for 2 flights on his trike, which is really awesome. So thank you very much, Brooke, for jumping on here and hanging out with us.
Thanks for including me.
And
Yeah, keep us posted on your flying adventures,
yeah, and text me.
Welcome back. We love to hear, the stories and how our new pilots are doing and everything. So
Yeah, and text me when you want to go fly something that's down over here in Little Rock.
You're going to get texts from me, believe me.
Good deal. Good deal.
Hey.
Lots of great places. Lots
that's
of
what
great
I'm talking about. That's right. That's
Absolutely.
Cool. Very
And-
cool.
And Will Fly, he's been flying for how long? And you're a GA pilot. You've been flying paramotors.
2.5 years.
Huh?
2.5 years.
2.5
Paramotors.
years? All right.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
make amazing videos. And if you haven't seen Will's videos, make sure you go over to willflyppg.com. That forwards over to his YouTube page. And you can just search for Will Fly and you'll find them. Just amazing videos. He puts so much time into the videos. It just makes them fun and entertaining. I'm telling you, in a couple of years, you're going to beat that other guy that does a lot of paramotor videos. What's his name? Tucker.
I don't know. I think I
guy?
know what you're talking about.
Tucker somebody. Tucker somebody. I don't know.
No, I do that because I love doing it. I love the whole journey thing. And Brooke, it was real nice meeting you.
Yeah.
Always nice
Absolutely.
meeting you, pilot.
Well, I'll tell you, I had COVID back in August, and I started watching Tucker, of course, and then I found your videos. I've seen all of them. And just recently, I friended you on Facebook, so we're Facebook friends.
Right on, man.
Cool.
Welcome to the.
Are we friends too? Are we friends too? Brooke?
I don't know, but you'll have to look me up.
We're all
Very
If
friends.
not, we
cool.
will be. We also got Jim from Canada. He prints out our stickers, our calendars, does so much for us, for not only for ClearProp, but he also does it for anybody else that needs stickers or anything printed. Jim, tell us a little bit about your company since now you got the spotlight. Tell us about your company and what you do and how to get up with you.
I have a small custom printing firm where I print anything a person wants. If I can't do it, I have friends that can do it. And I can ship anywhere. I've shipped as far as Australia before.
What?
So I make things happen is what I do. And you can get up with me through carepp.com. They email me and somebody will get back to you and we'll get you set up with whatever you need.
That's awesome. You even do custom decals, right?
You betcha.
Decals.
Yep.
Decals.
Yeah, decals for us stateside people and decals for Canada A peoples. Just like we say aluminum and they say aluminium.
We don't do that. That's like English.
Oh, well, you know what? I find myself saying
Australian or something.
Yeah, that's right. Walter from Australia. Walter, where are you? You're supposed to jump on and hang with us, Mr. Koala Bear dude. Oh,
Yeah,
well.
that's right.
So thank you, Jim, for all the stuff you do for us. And also Linda, too, from ParamoMUSA.com. If you want to get up with her, ParamoMUSA.com forwards over to her Facebook page. Just get up with her and say, hey, I want to be on PPG Grandpa's Paramotor Podcast, clearproptv.com, paratalk.org, and we will hook you up and hang out with you, pretty much like Brooke did. I mean, this is like an impromptu, small little interview with Brooke, so that's pretty awesome.
There you go.
I've enjoyed it, and thanks for including me.
Absolutely, buddy. Hey, do you have a YouTube channel, Brooke?
I have a TikTok, Padre Brook PPG.
Say it slowly.
Padre Brook PPG.
All right, over on TikTok. Sounds good.
Cool.
Tomorrow, don't forget, go to ppglear.com, and we also have a hang. Not me, but Eric does a podcast with Will and Mark, and who else is there? Will,
Myself, Mark, and Shane.
oh Shane, yeah,
Eric.
Shane. I have not heard from Shane. How's Shane doing?
As far as I know, he's doing really good.
He
Yeah,
was here
I'm
last
counting
week.
on him being on the show tomorrow night.
Yeah.
I wish that I had more time. I would love to be on you guys' show and hang out with you. Paramotor Hangout group, ppglear.com. That's tomorrow at 7 p.m. And then also Eric's wife, Jade, does a all-girl podcast at paramotorgirl.com on Wednesday at 7 p.m. So that's another great one to check out.
Yeah.
And also, too, there's something goes on Thursdays. What was that?
I know. My week is so full. I tell you, I love it.
I know, right?
Paraglidingtalk.com on Thursday night with my son, Robert Michaels. He is the host of paraglidingtalk.com, and he flies out of San Diego. And he's been flying since like 2017. And I watch a lot of the videos on Instagram, and I tell you what, sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh. But yeah, he loves it. You know what I mean? Like the mom, you're like, why?
Right.
He's so high up there. But no, it's all good. And I appreciate everybody that joins, comes and watch the show on Thursday night. So y'all hang out with us on Thursday.
I really love doing this. Paramotor Steve jumped on too. Let me go see if there's anybody else. Paramotor Steve jumped on. Hey, Paramotor Steve. Hot Butter Production. Let's see. Anybody else jumped on in the last little bit?
I love you, Steven.
I think everyone loves
You
him.
got him. And I heard Linda was going to go on a tandem ride. Anyone else heard that?
I heard that through the grapevine. Since we're
Guys.
here, I guess you need to tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah.
Well, if I don't get scared and not do it, Eric Lear is gonna take me up on a tandem.
You're in good hands with Eric.
That's awesome.
Is it?
Yep.
Okay, you guys. I'll be kind of ask you questions and everything. 'Cause it's kind of scary, but yet I don't know. I had a dream about it last night. That's how it's already starting. The anxiety, like, oh my gosh, can I do this? But,
What kind of dream?
well, it did crash.
Good.
That was good. Yeah. That was good.
William Garland in the chat says, I'm here and we'll be flying really soon. Awesome.
Right on, William.
And
Yay.
Flying Flamingo Jade is in the house. Said, Linda, I will help you.
I'm just so excited. I'm so psyched about meeting up with them. It's gonna be a great afternoon.
You're not going to be able to wear your cowgirl hat, though.
Well, I can take it. I can have Jade
You
can
could
hold
put it
to
on
my
top of the
cowboy
helmet,
hat.
maybe. Put it on top of the helmet. That would be great. That would be great video.
That would be
Yeah,
really
just kind of.
Oh, yeah, cowboy helmet.
Hey, and
I'm
real,
gonna look,
and
I'm
real
look like
quick,
a
guys.
Minnie Mouse sitting in that, truck.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I did put my
Okay.
my phone number in there. Just text me for free stickers if you want free stickers.
That's right. He's a sticker guy.
I'll get them from you personally when I see you.
Yes, come down here. I got a whole bunch of them. I even got some stuff from Paramotor USA.
Hey.
I got all sorts of stickers. All right. So anyways, guys, thank you again so much. If you can hit that like button, we're at 19 likes right now. And we went from 30 viewers down to 25, 24. So I guess everybody's leaving us. We appreciate you hanging out with us tonight. Don't forget tomorrow at ppglear.com and then Wednesday over at paramotorgirl.com and then on Thursday, paraglidingtalk.com. Is there anything else going on? Is there any more podcasts or paramotor podcasts that I don't know about? Is OPN doing anything, or is it just sporadic on the weekends?
I don't know the answer to that question. I haven't gotten any notification, which I usually do. So
Probably still recovering from bad apples, I'm
yeah,
sure.
he did a great job. And
Yeah.
Tim Gaskins, the whole team down there just did a fantastic job. So
Yeah, and I wish that I was there. Oh my God, I can't believe I was sick for that week.
they'll
Oh,
have one next year, I'm pretty sure.
you think?
I
Will
think.
will there
And
be
I bet it'll be
apples
bigger
next year?
than ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hot Butter Production says, "Man, it's really weird actually knowing the blue wrenches now, John Wayne." If you guys are always on the chat and stuff and you want a blue wrench, just text me and say, hey, I want to be a blue wrench and help you moderate your chat. And I'll give you that. Or if you donate $1,000, you'll get it too, even if I don't like you. But if you donate $1,000,
You kind of should have led with that, Sean.
oh my gosh. You guys are awesome. And once again, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us tonight.
guys.
And it's
Guys and gals.
guys and gals, and appreciate
Guys
you.
and
And we'll
gals.
see you later. Huh?
See you guys.
See you later.
Thanks so much, y'all. Have a good one.
Good night.
Night, y'all.
Good night.
All right.
Good
Stop
night.
recording. I think that's just the audio. Stop recording the audio. Yep. And then stop the live stream. So once again, thank you guys. Live stream, and we're Audi 5000. Peace, y'all. Thank you so much. I know, right? Was that? I like that, Joe. I was like, what?